Peace and welcome to Oddly Familiar. Today we have 10 new entries. So join us for part 3 of Hideki Naganuma samples that sound oddly familiar. Our first entry today is one of my favorite themes from Ollie King, Funk to the Top.
Everybody reach to the top. Everybody reach, yeah, don't stop, don't stop. Everybody reach to the top. Everybody reach, yeah, don't stop, don't stop.
And that vocal sample comes from the dub mix of Reach Up by Tony Lee.
Everybody reach to the top. Everybody reach up, don't stop, don't stop. Everybody reach to the top.
The dub mix of Reach Up was on the B-side of the single that was released in 1982. You can find the vocals on both versions of the track, however the original has percussions under the vocals, while the dub mix has no instruments at all. And when it comes to sampling, you usually want the nice clean vocals with no instruments. So I assume the sample used on Ollie King comes from the B-side.
Everybody reach to the top. Everybody reach, yeah, don't stop, don't stop. Everybody reach to the top. Everybody reach to the top. Everybody reach up, don't stop, don't stop. Everybody reach to the top.
Next up is from Jet Set Radio, titled That's Enough.
The music just turns me on.
We have another vocal sample, this one from Saturday Night Style by Mikey Dread.
The music just turns me on.
Saturday Night Style was released in 1979, and the sample appears at the very end. It's the very last thing said on the song. I also know the sample from the song Paid in Full by Eric B. and Rakim. That was actually the first time I ever heard it, and when I heard it again on Jet Set Radio, I had a mini flashback and remembered the Eric B. and Rakim record.
The music just turns me on. The music just turns me on.
Our next up is from a small handheld game that Hideki composed for titled Hip Jog Jog.
Damn. Check the beat.
And that vocal Check the Beat sample comes from Master Bits Rhapsody, Vocals Volume 2, Track 31, Male Adlib 1.
Check the beat.
This sample library was recorded specifically for sampling purposes, unlike many others which rely on copyrighted material. This is actually the very first game Hideki Naganuma composed for Sega, but don't take my word for it, here's a tweet by the funky uncle himself. Hip Jog Jog is kind of like a combo of DJ Hero and a Tiger Electronic handheld. It's a portable music game for DJs, but unlike Tiger handhelds, this had music and not just beeps.
Damn. Check the beat. Check the beat.
In at lucky number 7, we have another vocal sample. This one was used in Jet Set Radio on the theme titled Rock It On. That sample comes from a song titled Viva la Revolucion by Two in Line. This one was a little bit easier to find than most samples because the vocal sample is the same as the song title. It has been chopped up a bit, but you can actually hear the Viva la Revolucion line. Released in 1993, not to be confused with the 1983 punk song by The Addicts with the same name that was featured in the 2003 game Tony Hawk's Underground. Our next up comes from Sonic Rush. From the theme Back to Back, listen for the vocal sample. And that comes from The Haunted House of Rock by Houdini.
by the Grateful Dead. And spinning on the turntables back to back was no other than my main man Wolfman Jack, the MC.
An easy one to hear, it's right at the beginning of the Sonic Rush theme. Hideki did chop it up. He changed it from it's spinning on the turntables back to back into back to back, it's spinning on the back. He also sped it up to create an almost chipmunk style voice, but it's definitely the sample. The Houdini song, The Haunted House of Rock, was released in 1983, 22 years before Sonic Rush.
And spinning on the turntables back to back was no other than my main man Wolfman Jack, the MC.
Since that last Sonic Rush is titled Back to Back, we figured we should have another just so we can say it's back to back. And that guitar sample comes from Questions I Can't Answer by Hines. Right at the beginning of the Hines track, this is another sample that Hideki sped up. He didn't chop it up as much as some of his other used samples, so it's pretty easy to recognize. Questions I Can't Answer by Hines was released in 1964, making it one of the oldest used samples on our list today. In at unlucky number 4, we have Let It Go from Ollie King. And that sample is a little difficult to hear, but it comes from You'll Like It Too by Funkadelic. First released in Germany in 1980, and then the rest of the world in 1981. Hideki used a very small portion of the drums for this sample. He took a small segment and sped it up. I have isolated the drums to make it easier to hear. So here's the Ollie King track stripped down so you can hear just the drums. Our number 3 entry today comes from Jet Set Radio Future. The theme titled, Like It Like This, Like That.
Like this, like that, like that. I like it, I like it. I don't like it, not at all. I don't like it, not at all.
And that vocal sample comes from a Looney Tunes cartoon titled, Cat Tails for Two.
Why did you hit yourself on the head for, George?
I like it, I like it.
The full Looney Tunes segment is 6 minutes and 40 seconds long. The sample in question appears around the 3:48 mark. Originally released in 1953, the voice in the cartoon is Mel Blanc, also known as the Man of 1,000 Voices. His voice is everywhere. Some of his most well-known roles include Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Yosemite Sam, Tweety, Sylvester, and a ton more. If you have ever watched a Looney Tunes cartoon anywhere from 1950 to 1990, then I can pretty much guarantee you have heard his voice.
Like this, like that, like that. I like it, I like it. I don't like it.
Why did you hit yourself on the head for, George?
I like it, I like it.
Our number 2 spot is a double whammy. Again from Jet Set Radio Future, Like It Like This, Like That.
I don't like it, not at all. I don't like it, not at all, not at all.
And that comes from Quincy ME, Season 2, Episode 13, Let Me Light the Way.
I don't like it. Not at all.
Quincy ME is an American TV show that aired from October 3rd, 1976 to May 11th, 1983. It lasted for 8 seasons, totaling 148 episodes. The previous entry on our list was the I Like It sample, so we figured we had to find the I Don't Like It sample and include that too.
I don't like it, not at all. I don't like it, not at all.
I don't like it. Not at all.
Last up today comes from my favorite track by Hideki Naganuma, From Jet Set Radio, Humming the Bassline. And that original sample comes from the Treacherous 3, Feel the Heartbeat. Released in 1981, the Treacherous 3 song Feel the Heartbeat has been sampled many times throughout the years. If you listen, you just might recognize a few. The Treacherous 3 consists of Kool Moe Dee, Special K, and Sunshine. You may recognize Kool Moe Dee because of his song Wild Wild West, which Will Smith remade for the movie. Just a little bit of info that connects it all together. One last note I would like to include is the fact Hideki has stated he doesn't sample from songs. He uses sample libraries. So he's not sitting around listening to the Treacherous 3 or Funkadelic. We do have about 300 or 400 more Hideki samples, so you can expect a few more episodes. Until then, huge shout out to Golden Tier patrons Bearsona, Quantum X, and MJJ. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.